Boom shakalaka, what's going on everybody? Randall here from Crypto Love, and it's true, I got to interview CZ, the founder and CEO of Binance. Now this occurred at the Binance Charity Poker Cup, an event that I hosted or emceed about 2 weeks ago. I've edited it so that now you can just see me interviewing CZ. A couple things to note. Big shout out to TRONbet for putting together this tournament. It was freaking awesome. Had some legends there. Also, the noises you hear in the background are the noises of playing poker on TRONbet. Also, you might hear my co-host Nicholas live asking some questions. Also, if you stick around and watch this whole video, you'll get to see CZ answer some questions about first kicking US users off of Binance, also his goals with margin trading, also his response to the most recent hack. So you'll get to find all of that stuff if you listen. So give it a listen. Big thanks to CZ for doing this and for everyone. And I hope you enjoy. Peace. CZ, it is a pleasure to meet you. And you get to play poker at the same time. So,
yeah.
People know a lot about you. I mean, you're one of the most popular people in cryptocurrency. I think first what you've done with Binance Exchange is awesome because a lot of people believe in you, believe in the exchange, and it's really extraordinary what you've done with the exchange in 2 years. So right now, this tournament is promoting Binance Charity. It's the Binance Charity Poker Cup. So tell us a little bit about Binance Charity.
Sure. I think Binance Charity. So back in 2014, we had the idea of doing a transparent charity using the blockchain technology. So transparency has been an issue in the traditional charity world, and now we have the technology to do a transparent charity. And I think that's a perfect use case for blockchain. And you will make the charity also quite big, I think, given the transparency of it. When there's transparency, there's also accountability or achievement. So when you donate something, you can track it all the way down to a school in Africa, and you know which kid you have helped. And I think that's tremendous. So now, luckily, Binance have the ability to do this now. So I feel very happy that we can do this. So and actually helping other people gives you a strong sense of accomplishment. So it's actually a great thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. So all the proceeds from this are going to help out children in Africa. So
yeah.
Was there any inspiration for choosing children in Africa?
Actually, not really. It was more of just there's a little bit of luck or chance because it's more a little bit of what we can do. So it happens to be that number one, Africa has the lowest what we call the living standard in the planet right now, and we also have the connections, the ability to go to Africa. So that's kind of why we kind of choose Africa.
Oh, well played! You just won the hand.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to play and talk at the same time.
You're multitasking very good.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed. I was thinking you'd just be folding every time, but you're still playing. Wow. Yeah. So I was.
There is no requirements for you to play and talk at the same time, but good job.
It's okay. So it's all for charity anyway. So it's not like I'm taking any money away.
That's wonderful. So I was taking a look at the website Binance.charity. And it seems like you've already raised a lot of funds for charity. Yes?
Yes. I think so far we've raised somewhere between $4 to $5 million US. I think it's close to 5 now. And it also depends on the BNB price or the price of the cryptocurrency. So we raised quite a bit already.
Mm-hmm. And there are a number of different projects that people can donate to, correct?
Yes. There's quite a number of different projects programs now.
Mm-hmm. I do have to say that I'm impressed. You are currently #1 on the leaderboard while doing the interview at the same time.
I told you it was lucky to... Yeah.
I think I just played 2 random hands and I got pocket jacks just a minute ago, and yeah, that's it.
Very nice. So tell me, what's your poker experience? Are you an avid poker player?
I wasn't an avid poker player, and then until one guy told me that if you quit poker for 2 years, then you can play poker for all you want for the rest of your life and not worry about money. So I took his advice and stopped. And that's when that's in 2015-ish. So that's when I started the company before Binance. And that advice worked out quite well. Before that, I was playing poker with a bunch of guys who are also in the crypto space, mostly like Bobby Lee, Ron Tao, which I mentioned many times. I used to play poker quite a bit, but now I don't play at all, actually.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. That's almost like a prophecy. He told you quit playing poker for 2 years, and then you'll make enough where you want to play again, and that pretty much happened.
Yeah, it kind of happened, yeah.
That's wonderful. So what do you think is Binance Charity's greatest achievement?
So I think number one is right now we have a little bit more than a prototype now. So we built a website with full functionality to track the charity on the blockchain, but we display on the website in a very visually easy manner. And then we also have 10 schools, and we expanded to 100 schools in Africa. And now, so this is like the second version of the pilot after the pilot. So it's kind of working now. So we have a working model now, and now we're seeing like decent sized donations now, $500,000 here, $200K there. So it's actually so the model is kind of working.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And you said using the blockchain, you can track it all the way through, so people can actually see their money is getting to the people they want it to get to.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Definitely. Anything else you'd like people to know about Binance Charity?
I guess people should just look at the Binance Charity website, which is binance.charity, and then you can donate however small amount or however big amount in crypto, and you can track it all the way down to the beneficiary. So people should try it, and if you try it for that experience, you're gonna figure it out. Okay, it's very transparent, and there's a very strong sense of achievement. So that's also quite good as well. So I encourage people to look at it.
All right, wonderful, definitely. So guys, go check out Binance.charity. You can check it out. You can donate. A couple other questions for you, CZ. I guess less about the charity now. So you said you've played poker before. So do you have a strategy when you play poker? What's your poker strategy?
My poker strategy is not too good. I'm actually not a great player, contrary to what people think. I'm not patient enough. So I tend to not wait for good hands, and I like to play at a stake level that's very comfortable to me. So I don't take the money too seriously, but that's actually not good in poker, because when it's not hurting enough, you don't play too seriously. I typically lose, so I don't really have a good strategy.
Yeah. Well, you're fortunate today because you got 9 buy-ins, so you can keep on playing until for quite a number of rounds.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
I wonder who was the first person to use up all the 9 buy-ins.
No, Buffalo Ankle's pretty close now. But depending on if he wins this hand.
Wonderful. So I'm sure a lot of people want to know, what's a day like in the life of CZ? Like, what do you do from day to day?
So that's quite an interesting story. I wrote an article about it. Basically, every day is slightly different. I typically don't actually schedule that many set meetings in a day. I ask my assistant to schedule like somewhere between 3 to 4 or sometimes 2 to 4 meetings a day, and that's it. But the other times fills up just randomly or by itself always. So for example, today we had the announcement about the US, and that turned out to be a big deal, and there's a lot of news coverage, and there's a lot of questions. So every day is a little bit random. So I'm a generalist, so I'm not a specialist in any specific area now. So if you talk about tech, our tech team is so much stronger than me in tech. If you talk about marketing, then our marketing team is much stronger than me in marketing. So I'm just a generalist that's doing a little bit of everything. So I'm kind of like a random access memory type of thing, where people just randomly come to me and I'll just respond. So I think I'm equally available internally as I'm actually more than I'm available on Twitter, of course. So people just come to me randomly. It's a fairly distributed team, and so things don't go. We don't have a lot of plans. So a lot of people think we plan and strategize, all of this detail, but we actually don't do that. Every day just happens. So it's a little bit random.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty interesting because looking at it from the outside, it definitely looks like you guys have a clear strategy. It seems like you're always on the forefront. You're always developing and kind of leading the crypto revolution. So that's very interesting to see that you kind of respond to what happens from day to day.
So basically, we are very reactive. But we're very quick. We are very dynamic. So when something happens, we just react very quickly. It looks like we have a plan, but we do try to plan a few steps ahead, like just at a very high level. But we don't have detailed plans. So basically, for example, we did plan the DEX for a long time. But we've been working on it. We did talk to our U.S. partner for a long time. So that's not a quick thing that just happened. But in terms of day to day, we don't have detailed plans. We just react.
Wonderful. Now, that announcement today definitely caught some people by surprise. I know Nicholas had a question about it, if you're comfortable talking about it, but Nicholas?
Sure,
oh, yeah, I was definitely going to ask you. You don't have to comment if you don't want to, but would you like to talk about the current U.S. citizens being banned from using the platform?
So it's not so. Well, basically, from our perspective, we have never targeted the U.S. Market. We have always very clearly stayed off the U.S. market. So we have always stated our principle is we want to be compliant in every jurisdiction. We don't want to offend anybody. We don't want to step on anybody's toes. So we've been growing very quickly, and we are a small company. We're a small team. That's less than 2 years old. I think today we're about 17 months from the exchange go live. But we just didn't have time to deal with every country's policies around the world. And now we have a partner in the U.S. We want to be a little bit tighter with our compliance to different policies in different jurisdictions. So that's all it is. So we were never targeting U.S. users, but I guess so we're just saying, look, we're becoming a bit more tighter, but we're not forcing anybody to withdraw their funds immediately. We're giving them 90 days. Hopefully, within that 90 days, the Binance.us site will be live. We don't know exactly because that depends on our partner, and there are still procedures to follow and compliance things to do. But I'm relatively confident we will get it up running in 90 days, and then there will be a place to go.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like the right move to make, even though a lot of people don't like it if they're in the U.S., because unfortunately, the laws in the U.S. regarding cryptocurrencies are kind of difficult. So for any exchange, you need to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think one of the things I would like to add is basically many people view that as our decision, but it's actually really not our decision. We don't have a decision to make here. We don't have a choice, right? So our compliance team tells us, look, we got to be compliant with the U.S. Regulations and rules, and we have to be stronger with our compliance checks. There's really no decision. It's not like I'm choosing or not. It's really, so for anybody who kind of gets a little bit annoyed, it's unfortunate, but that's what the U.S. regulations are. So we don't really make choices here.
So instead of complaining, write an angry letter to the SEC.
Or I don't know how the U.S. mechanism works, but just basically voice to your to whoever's in charge, basically.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because it isn't something that you guys did have. I mean, you didn't have a choice in it, so I'm glad you mentioned that because it helps a lot of people see that it wasn't really your choice. Unfortunately, the SEC at this moment is bigger than Binance, but we'll see in 10 years.
We'll see.
No, I think they'll always be bigger. So we're always the smaller guy. So.
Yeah, wonderful. So other than that, you just...
And another winning hand. I have to interrupt. Like, you're killing it. You lost the first spot for a second, but right now you're getting closer to taking the first spot again.
Wow.
It's okay. Just pocket pairs.
Look at that. Very lucky to talk to me. You should come talk with me more often, I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
So you just introduced margin trading in beta. So curious, why'd you do that and what are the goals with it?
So we actually have been thinking about, so basically if you look at the Binance white paper, even from 2 years ago, we talk about a DEX, we talk about a margin, we talk about futures. So this was always on the sort of high level plan. We just wasn't sure exactly when we're going to do it. So we started developing it earlier this year, and it's kind of coming out now. We do think that, so our margin leverage right now is very low. The highest level we give is 3x, so it's very conservative. It's not like other exchanges where you get 100x, and you could. But we do want to give people the ability to sort of do leverage trading, because if you just do spot trading, the cost of trading may be quite high, because for a lot of the institutional traders, they trade on multiple exchanges. They can't have all their money sitting on every exchange. They want to have some leverage. So that's just a feature that a lot of our users want, and we just listen to them. We provide it.
Okay, wonderful. And how do you think you're going to compete with the other margin trading platforms out there?
So basically, from our perspective, we're really never focused on any other player or any other competition. We don't view us as competing with somebody. We just want to make our product offering more complete and more comprehensive. So we don't really look at another competitor and copy their features. Whereas instead, we listen to our users to find out what their pain points are using our product, and we try to improve that over time. So if you look at the way we design our margins, it's actually different from every other margin system out there. So it's not so much to sort of compete with somebody else. I think the market is big enough for many exchanges with margin, with futures, with derivatives. To be around. The world is still pretty big, and this industry is quite small as well. So we just want to provide the best feature we can, and then see how it goes.
Okay, wonderful. So I mentioned in the beginning that people trust you a lot. They feel like you're working in their best interests, and definitely with what happened with the hack recently with the SAFU fund, I'm sure a lot of people were grateful because they didn't lose any funds because of that. So have you guys taken steps to help prevent this in the future, and also how safe are people's funds in the future as well?
Sure, absolutely. So basically, in terms of security, it's a never done thing, right? So there's so many things you can do on security, and there's also trade-offs you can choose. So you can be really, really secure. We can hold everybody's withdrawal for an hour and do a lot of security checks. But then the user experience will be quite poor. So, but at the same time, they are more like sort of harder to decide decisions. Sometimes a business will want to push like the margin feature, but then we want to revamp some of our security features. So, given that instant, we have put the security like way above everything else, and for the last basically month or so, and we'll continue to do that for the next little while. And we have actually completely revamped our backend. The way we architect our servers, etc. So security is much tighter now. So we were actually very fortunate that we were doing the hot wallet, cold wallet setup, where even though the hacker had found a weakness in our withdrawal mechanism, but they were only able to impact the hot wallet, which is which is one of the security features that's implemented by most exchanges, and we're lucky that in this case it helped us. So security is definitely number one now, and everyone's very well aware of that, and everything's very, very high priority. We actually pushed a lot of business initiatives far back just for this. So I mean it's unfortunate, but I think in the long run it actually might be beneficial. It actually might be a good thing for us, because now I think the security we have now is like really, really advanced. It's actually probably much more advanced than what other people can imagine. So but security is never 100%. So if I say like it's impossible to happen for an accident to happen, that would be lying. So, but I think we are one of the most secure exchanges out there now.
That is a really big claim to make.
Mm-hmm. But also, I mean, that's a great thing. That's why a lot of people believe in Binance. I mean, Binance came about when there were questions about another exchange at the time, and people saw that Binance had better customer service, had better user experience, and now we see that in the sake of handling a hack very safely, they've gone to step up their security a lot more. Yeah, so I think that's a great thing. So,
Yeah, I mean, on the topic of security, it's not just about your physical network security or your system security. It's also about your business continuity security and also how you handle instances like this, right? So security is never 100%. If you have a guy knocking on your door, and that's also a security issue potentially. So it's also about how you handle this instances like this. I think even though yes, there was a hacker instance on the network system level, but the way we handled it showed that we're actually quite secure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm actually very curious to ask now, if I can interrupt for a second. Are you comfortable talking about your top 5 coins you're holding right now, since we are entering a new bull market, as many people say right now? No, you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to.
I mean, it's pretty. I think if people do some research, it's pretty obvious actually. So it's not a problem. If you go by U.S. dollar value, then the top 5 coins are pretty much the top 5 market cap coins. So if you look at coin market cap and pick the top 5 or top 6 or 7, the top 5 coins are definitely in there. So it's really not a secret. So BTC, ETH, well, BNB was probably the highest because we hold most of the BNB are still on our platform, I think. So yeah, it's really that simple. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then probably one of the last questions we'll have for you. What do you see for the future of cryptocurrency and also the future of Binance?
So I said this a couple of times. I view the future of cryptocurrency as millions of tokens, thousands of blockchains. So there are applications that will require blockchain. I think there will be thousands of them. But I think there's much more use cases where you don't need a blockchain. You just need to issue a token, and I think there's a lot more of those, probably 1,000 times more. So I would envision millions of tokens. So and this is, given that view, this is how we structure our business. You can see this is why we do Binance Dex, which is more of a token economic driven blockchain. And we have Binance.com, which services multiple blockchains, but that's a centralized exchange. So that's the future I envision. I think we will get there I think the beginning may be slow, but we will get there sooner than people think. So yeah, so basically lots of crypto.
Ooh, yeah. He just went all in. And won. Good job to Spencer.
Yeah. All right.
About time. I was getting hammered the whole game.
Cool. Well, CZ, while we have you here, anything else you'd like to mention? Anything else you want to say to people watching?
No, I mean, thank you for organizing this poker event, and thank you for working with Binance Charity. I think this is a great cause. And so given this opportunity, I look at the software and the apps you guys made. It's fantastic. I think this is great. Yeah.
And I do have to give a shout out to the TRONbet admin for organizing all this. This was a very well coordinated organization. Like me being a DJ of the actual live stream, I get to see everything happen in real time, and I was impressed. And I also want to say that hopefully we can make this a yearly thing, and hopefully we will see you again this time next year for another Binance Poker Cup.
But we'll see. So depending on how I do, I think we have some better players in Binance than me. So maybe we'll invite them next year.
Yeah, bring the ringers.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, CZ, thank you so much. It was a pleasure.